I'm just making supper, and I have a community member brought me some cucumber and tomato and some roti or naan or chapati, and I made some pasta and a cup of tea. And it's been a pretty good day, nice sunny beautiful day, and it's a wonderful day. I had to call the police today because there are two roommates here, one from Sri Lanka and one from Germany, here in Nova Scotia province of Canada. And they are bullies, so there's three of them in this house. We are about, 8 or 9 or 10 of us. The landlord has tried to tell them to stop being bullies, but they just continue. And so this is the second time had to call the police. One was being very aggressive here in the kitchen, and the other one tried to fight me in the kitchen before. See, so it's just like it happens in this time of Donald Trump, where there's and even in times like like during the time of Hitler, there were these bullies that gathered around and came out of their whatever thing, and they feel they can get something called wicked pleasure from harassing or bullying or like whatever it is, or yelling at people and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We're just one big, beautiful human family. So, just waiting for this water to boil here, so that I can put this in here and warm it up and then mix it up. So, but it's just it depends on how someone was raised. Sometimes, like if someone was raised in a family where there's a lot of greed and corruption, or like some kind of they don't regard other people as human beings, or they just want to profit themselves and be greedy pigs or whatever. Who knows? It's just how it depends on how human beings. George Orwell said, "Some pigs want to be more equal than others." So in a situation like that, then it turns into some kind of not a regular animal farm, but some kind of weird version of an animal farm, where there is just a lot of bullying and greeding and hatred. That's the same place where things like racism come from. Racism is just one of those. It's just one fancy word for bullies. See? Or like the people that, for example, start unnecessary wars and for example, like invading whatever it is, invading Iraq, invading Iran, invading Yemen, causing crisis in Sudan, and all this, like in places that are distant from wherever the bully considers home, or considers their people, or considers it's just one of those us against them, very narrow mindset type of approach to human situations. See, and it happens. So you find in a situation like this, these young people here are living in this house with the landlord is kind-hearted and has over 9, 8, 5, 6, 7, or wherever number of people here from different countries. I come from Kenya in East Africa, and there are people from Asia, from Europe, from there's one from the Caribbean who just left about a month ago, I saw also, and there's an Italian here that just came from Europe a while ago. Then he left to go live with his in a much better place. Well, not much better, but it's just his own place with his woman and stuff. His girlfriend. He's like starting out himself in this business and this whatever. So, and then other kinds of people. There's some from Latino background or like Spanish or um, uh, and who else? Yeah, then we have people from Europe, people from so it's a mixture of people here in this building. So, but so they will not, the bullies will not target the ones that they think have power or have privilege or have or their families are in a position to speak up for them and stuff like that. They will they'll target these ones that they think are vulnerable, these ones that they can push around and like oh yeah, so they want to step on the ones that are weak or like the elderly. Like I'm a senior now, heading 60 to 70s, heading 60 to 70s. So I came here, and immediately the first week the Sri Lankan told me, "I hate you." In the first week, he just popped out of his room and said, "I hate you." I'm like, "Oh, why you hate me?" He's like, "You're different from other Kenyans." I asked him, "How many Kenyans you know?" He said, "There are one or two that live here." Or whatever. I'm like, there are over 50 million people in Kenya, and maybe another, I don't know, 10 million or more, whatever, how many million refugees and international people from all over the world. They work in Nairobi and work in it's the regional headquarters there of many international organizations, including the Canadian Embassy of the region there. You know, 2 or 3 Kenyans, and you're like, like, oh, the other Kenyans. I'm like, oh, okay, so so what does that mean? I don't know. So if one has a mindset like that, even if even if one is well educated, one is well raised, one is well dressed, those are just like social paradigms or social what do you call them? Social trying to look for the spoon. I put the spoon. Oh, it fell in here probably. Sorry. So those are social aspects of society, and but you see, even if you take someone who has evil character or mindset that is that I don't know, they don't like black people, or they don't like green people, or they don't like gay people, or they don't like this, or they don't like the other, but they like themselves and they want to like those that they like or whatever, or they like only white people, or they like only people of their class, or people of their, I don't know, their friends and their family. So that is people that operate on a very narrow mindset, see. So like racism would be the narrowest mindset of all humanity, because they judge people according to skin color. So judging a book by its cover, or saying, oh, see, the dog does not judge other dogs by the skin color. The cow does not say, oh, these cows are black and white. I don't like all the red cows, all the beige cows, all the spotted cows, all the other see. But human beings are weird like that, see. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Oh, the tree does not say, oh, I don't like all the other, I don't know, purple trees and the ones that have yellow flowers. I don't have all the roses, all the this or the other. So who knows? Maybe they do in their own way. They have their own energy and their own paradigm of operation. See. The pasta does not say I don't like the chicken. The chicken doesn't say I don't like the tomato. The tomato is not waging war against the cucumber. Cucumber is not bombing the naan bread or chapati or the roti. See, this book is not like calling I don't know, whatever, waging war against the keys, and the keys are not waging war against the tea. See, it's just so. The issues may arise, and there could be energy transmission between these things, and each and everyone trying to exist on its own. But they are coexisting in a peaceful manner. It looks like, I don't know, who knows what's going on really among them. see, see. So Shakespeare was right when he said that. For us human beings, when we are born, we arrive onto this world. We cry because we've arrived on this grand stage of fools. See, Shakespeare was right. See. And what is this? What is Inca? Or is it Chinua Achebe? Chinua Achebe said, things fall apart when there's some kind of there was this gentleman in that book that was the strongest wrestler in the village, and then I don't know, he had issues and he had these, and then I don't know what he did to his child and stuff like that. I don't know. Read the book. The book is entitled "Things Fall Apart" by Chinua Achebe, or you can read another book by Mother Teresa called "My Life for the Poor." Or you can read, or even another more interesting one, is this one called My Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom, or Pilgrim's Progress, or, I don't know, there's so many. Or you can read a book called The Odyssey. The Odyssey also talks about just the experiences of human life of a king that went to war. He went, I don't know, he's just like trying to get resources for his community and for his people and this and that. I don't know, doing good and stuff like that. It's just like, I don't know, just exploring to see what's out there in the world. And I don't know, what can we trade, what can we do, I don't know, just what people did in those days. So they would go and they would just exploring on a ship, and who knows, hunting, gathering, whatever. Who knows how they did those things those days. But Ulysses, the Odyssey is about a book like that. And then the king arrives, and then he's on his way home, and he passes by I don't know, some pig yard or whatever. I don't know where he heard about it, that there was issues in his home and his family. The nobles that he left there, and all these people that remained, all of them were like gathering at his home in the evening and this and that, partying. They're trying to get married to his wife so they can get a piece of the empire and control this and the other and grab this and the other and like, yes, whatever. See, but the king was out there trying to get resources for all of them, all the people in this kingdom and the empire and this and the other and the other. He was just like doing his thing there. He was an amazing king that went to war. These days, kings and leaders don't go to war. They send the children of the poor to go fight, to go climb a plane, to go to the moon, to go, I don't know, all these like ordinary people, the ones that do stuff like that. You don't see the leaders of kings and presidents and chief executives and stuff like that going to battle and to war and to all that stuff. You don't see that happening, not these days. No, it's a rare occasion. There was one rare occasion when the son of King Charles, Harry, when he was younger, he went to, I think, Iraq or some place like that. I don't know where he was. He went there, I don't know, for a short while here. But when he's also there, he has extra protection and extra this and extra the other. He's not just a regular soldier. So he's treated with, I don't know, extra ABCD, privilege and whatever. See? Because he can be a high value target or whatever, or like he can be like, I don't know, even the enemies will feel honored to have a son of a king there or whoever. See, you don't see the president of USA or the president of any other country sending their children to war and stuff like that. So it's just I don't know, it's just how it is. So but this king in Odyssey is the one that went to war himself. Not even his kids, he went himself. Those days the leaders would like ride in front of the they would be in a horse and they would ride, or like whatever, chariot or whatever, and they lead the troops from the front. They lead by example. So these days they hide in the background and they're in a, I don't know, a safe place, a bunker. They're hidden somewhere, and then they're giving orders and whatever. and sacrificing all these little minions and these other people, ordinary people that they tell them you're serving the country and stuff like that. This is amazing how you. Anyway, so Desi, this king came back, and then he arrives and he passes by on his way home. He talks with the person who's taking care of his pigs and all this other stuff and all these animals that will belong to him. So he passes there and he's asking him, oh, so what's going on in the palace? And the person says, oh, you don't believe it, man. In the palace is these other people that are trying to like hook up with the wife of the queen. It's ridiculous and whatever. So, and this guy does not know this is the king. Yeah, I don't know, who knows? It doesn't recognize him because the king looks different. The king probably grew a beard and all this. He's been out there in the war. He's like a rough looking fellow. He's not wearing his robes and whatever. So he's kind of in disguise. So this king hangs out there and he's just like chatting with this person taking care of the pigs and whatever. And it's the same way in the story of the prodigal son, the switch story for the people that are religious or not. I don't give a shit what you. Anyway, well, it's up to you whether you want to believe or not. See, but what I'm saying is, in the story of the prodigal son, there was this son who went away. There were two sons, and one remained at home, one went away, and the other one, I don't know, is given one or two things by the dad, and he's like, oh yeah, and he just went to explore. He was this adventurer, and he went there. He's like in the city and in the town and in the days, experiencing life and whatever. And then he ran out of funds and he's like trying to survive. And then he ended up taking care of some pigs, or these freaking pigs, or like, I don't know, whatever animals they were. And he didn't have food to eat. He's eating the food with the pigs and all that stuff. And he was kind of like a homeless, and he's just like a simple dude. Nobody knew that he was son of a rich person somewhere, somehow, whatever. Anyway, so this gentleman is there taking care of the pigs. And then he's sitting there and he's like, in my father's house. See, jeez, it's good food there. Why am I eating food of pigs? I don't know. He's just having a moment of self-reflection. Figuring this out. Whatever, see. I remember when I came here many years ago, 25 years ago, and I came to study my master's in development economics here in Dalhousie, in Nova Scotia province of Canada, here in North America. And I came to Dalhousie. It was too expensive, so I dropped out of school. I couldn't afford that. And the program was like, oh, frig, this program is like teaching me to go colonize and grab, I don't know, this and the other, or this and the other developing country where I came from. What's a developing country? What's a developed country? Country is country. People. See? So why is there this inequity in the countries? Anyway, whatever, see? So, eventually, I got a ticket from this. Did a small job there in the Department of Economics, where I was there on English Street, close to the library there, in Dalhousie University. Anyone who knows that area, and anyway, then eventually I was offered a ticket by the same department, head of department, kind-hearted man. He's called Mr. Dr. Professor Alan McIntosh. Now, is it Alan? Professor McIntosh, Ian McIntosh, and he's like, yeah, I have his pamphlet here actually. This is him here. See, Ian McIntosh is another professor of economics. So then I go from here, from Canada, Nova Scotia province, and I head back to Kenya, and I stay there in Kenya for a while. I stay there for a while, like over a year, and just doing my own thing there. And so I go there, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I just did my thing. I reached there, and I knocked on the door of my director of human resources, Her name was Sarah Saram. She became head of Salaries Commission in Kenya, and she became ambassador of China, the Kenyan ambassador to China, and I think she retired now and stuff. Anyway, so I knock on her door like, hey, Sarah, hi, madam. She said, oh yeah, hey, Frank, what are you doing here? I thought I'll give you study leave to go to Canada. I told her, oh, Jesus, it was like, couldn't afford all that stuff and all that stuff. And like, what the heck? Oh, yeah. Then here's a letter from my head of department. It says, oh, this gentleman is not able to adjust to life in Canada, whatever, whatever. What the heck? He says, you are one of my good employees here, see? I'm like, yeah, see? So anyways, he said, what can I do for you? He said, I don't know. I just probably just want to resume my job for a little bit, and then I'll reorganize myself and then see what I can do and whatever. So yeah, do you want to start this week or today, or what's your plan? I say, oh, I just take a break, go visit my mom there in the village for a bit, and then figure out stuff. I'm like, yeah. So anyways, I did that, and yeah, then I reorganized myself, and I came back to Canada, and then I did my own thing. So, and then after a while, I was here in Canada for a little bit, and then I decided, let me start a family. So I ended up starting a family. But in Canada, it's different, eh? So, because like the people are judged according to skin color. So I had these children, and then I figured out, oh, these children, the mothers of these children did not want the child to have an African name. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why? What's going on here? And then, so after a while anyway, the relationship didn't work out. So I'm like, oh yeah. Then so I ended up on the street. I was homeless for like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years or so on the streets here in Halifax, Nova Scotia province, Canada. And I'm there eating from the garbage like this. And I used to eat like stuff like that. See, people, the stuff, the things throw out, I would eat stuff like that. And then I ended up eating from the soup kitchens, and I figured out, oh, there's these homeless people. Friggin', I'm not alone. See, it's a whole community here. Then I figured out there's all these volunteers that are doing kind-hearted work. They're amazing people, eh? Then I figured out, oh, there's this other world here where it doesn't run on money, it runs on compassion, runs on love, it runs on kindness, runs on caring about each other, standing up for each other, joining hands together, working together, and like each one contributing little bits, like someone would bring broccoli or whatever, this one, another, then Feed Nova Scotia, which is an organization here, would donate some food, some tomatoes, or some cans that are donated by people in the community, and then they would make food, whatever kind of food. Yeah, so I started, wow, I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Well done to be part of this kindness and all this good work. This is now the real development economics not the one I was studying at the university. This is practical, good development economics. They're caring for people. They're feeding the hungry. They're like comforting the broken-hearted. They're like, what else? Clothing people. There's like clothes there. And there's donated shoes, donated clothes. And these things that would have gone into the garbage, or I don't know, there's a new kind-hearted people donating them. Who knows? A mixture of that. So I started working in this non-profit sector. It's called non-profit, which is like a non-government organization or NGO. And there's just so many of them. There's like Soul Harbor. That Soul Harbor had not started yet. There was like, we hadn't started in Halifax. This is a very new organization here. There was like Hope Cottage and Salvation Army and all this Sunday breakfast on Brunswick Street, about St. Matthew's Church. There's Sunday supper at the on Roby Street. There's all these kind-hearted people doing amazing things. Yeah, you see. Yeah, also like I think there's a government run one. Oh, they have good breakfast there. It's called what is it called? It's right there. What is it? It's on Brunswick Street or something like that. Anyway, yeah. So it's just one of those other places. See, Metro Turning Point. Yeah. So there's all these other kind-hearted organizations here, and then in Cape Breton, there's in Gillespie. There's one called Harvest House, and then there's one in Sydney. I don't remember the one in the name in Sydney, Cape Breton. There's a soup kitchen right there on. I don't know, up the street from the bank, close to Tim Hortons up that way, and they serve lunch or something like that. And then there's a homeless shelter somewhere, somewhere in the middle of town. It's just a small house there. It may have grown to something else, whatever. And then the kind-hearted people, member to kind-hearted people of like Kogma, Weguba, and the kind-hearted people. Wema Cook are very kind-hearted people. They housed me a couple of times, and I was just going through a tough situation 2 or 3 times. I was just passing by. I didn't have a place to say, come over, stay with us. Come over, stay with us. Come over, stay with us. I was just so kind-hearted. I appreciate the chief of Wema Cook. May they be blessed forever. May they be blessed forever. People of Wema Cook, the Aboriginal people, Mi'kmaq people, and the kind-hearted people of Wema Cook. They go through a lot. They're in between, they're close to Badek, and in between Badek and Waikogma in Cape Breton Island. And right next to it is the Gaelic College of Cape Breton. And then there's a Gaelic community there. And then there's English Town on the other side. And then there's Nyanza, Nyanza. We say Nyanza in Swahili, but here they say Nyanza there. And then there's now some kind of a courthouse in Wema Cook there. I hope they are doing restorative justice and peace and truth and reconciliation and kindness and all this kind of mediative justice, and not just throwing people, Aboriginal people, to court and stuff like that, to jail and stuff like that. It's very different there compared to Weguba. There's it's different. They have a RCMP station outside the school. They have another one at the gate. They have RCMP is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the reason why the Mounted Police was created was to chase around these black people, brown people, all these other poor people, and all these other people that were not wanted. They were considered unwanted, or like they didn't belong to the what was considered a white community or whatever privileged community there was at that time. See, who knows? So the people that came here, probably from prison, probably from educated people, probably from just I don't know, deciding they want to jump into big ships. They didn't need a passport. Just anyone could come here from Europe or wherever. Not from Africa, not from Asia, not from any other part of the world. It's just from Europe. So that's why there's many Europeans, many white people. There's not just Europeans. Anyone that had pale skin from Europe, from the Middle East, Lebanon, from Israel, from all these places that have Saudi Arabia, whatever, all these people that have pale skin were able to come to North America or to Australia or to just this new, it was called new lands, or the new areas that were had good resources, a lot of good resources at that time. Anyway, so they jumped into ships, and including the people that either went to fight in Germany during the war with Hitler, or with all this other Mussolini. I don't know who else was involved in the Hitler thing in Germany, Adolf Hitler time. So, and all the brides that they met there, all these other ladies were looking at these amazing guys that came from Canada, came from here, they've been eating good food, they've been like, I don't know, they were poor, and then they went from middle class, and then some of them became rich, and then they've come now to fight, not the rich ones, but maybe just ordinary people just looking to, I don't know, go save the queen and save the culture, save the heritage, save the world, save this, save the other. So they jumped into ships, went to Europe to fight the war, including my uncle from Kenya. He went to fight in the war, and he used to tell us stories about Japan and the Germans and all these other people. Anyway, he called them Japan. So yeah, so it's the same thing that happened to Ulysses not Ulysses, in the Odyssey. The king came back, and then the empire was like, what the heck? So, and he had this, it's the same thing that happened to Buddha when he went from the palace, and then he went to outside the palace, and he saw people suffering, and he saw people, oh, that one is sick, or that one is disabled, or this one is rich, this one is poor. Why is this, all these differences in the world? He was protected from this thing that was in the palace. He was like, he was at the center of attention and all this, and then he was so troubled, this other tree, and then he's like, wow, he came to the realization that he's human. He came to the realization that there's suffering in the world. He came to the realization that there's important, peace is important, the love is important, kindness is important, caring for others is important. Is that we are all human, just one big human family, kind of caring, but well, so who knows how caring we are? It could be pretentious caring and all that caring, but hopefully a caring human family. Anyway, so that happens. So, and anyway, so I found my own way, and then I started to rebuild my life from being homeless, and then got help from Salvation Army. I used to sleep on that tree. I slept in the graveyard right there, South Park Street. I slept outside of school. I even slept outside the railway. I even slept outside the premier or the government house there in the downtown Halifax, wherever. And then eventually I got a bed in Salvation Army once or twice, and then they helped me get a place there on English Street. They helped me get a place on near the library here on Spring Garden Road on in Clyde Street, close to the Spring Garden Library. Then I built my life slowly from there, and then eventually I moved from my previous landlord was a gentleman called Green, and then he sold the house. Then we moved. Then I moved to bounced back to Salvation Army. Then I moved again to I kind of had a lady really help me there. She was kind of had people in Salvation Army anyways. So then they found me a place there on English Street, right here in the south end. And then from there I stayed 6-7 years, saved money. Then I moved to this location where I am now. And then when I came here, I didn't know it. Landlord was good, the place was good, it looks good. And then I arrived here, there are 2 or 3 bullies, and there are like 5, 6, 7 other roommates that are kind-hearted, and 5, 6, 7 others have left. They lived here. So it's just how the world is. So be strong and be happy in whichever situation. Figure out how to be a good human being, and just have a wonderful life. And all the best to each and everyone. All the best to you and your families. Enjoy your food, enjoy your life, and blessings to each and everyone. My name is Canadian Simba from Kenya.